This right here is the only day trading video you need to watch in 2026 in order to learn how to trade and be profitable this year. Now is the best time to start trading and actually make profit and be consistent with it, because as we know, the world is changing very fast and it's becoming harder and harder to earn money. Trading is the best skill right now that can offer you financial freedom and also location and time freedom, which in my opinion is extremely important. In this video, I will go over a number of things that you need to know if you're looking to trade in 2026. It doesn't matter if you didn't start trading yet or if you have been trading for a while but couldn't become profitable, this video is for you. I'll go through the best markets that you can trade this year, the concepts that you need to use in order to keep trading simple and efficient, the confluences and also risk and trade management, and at the end I'll go over if you should trade personal capital or pro-firm capital and how to scale it up. This video right here is my 7 years of experience in about probably 15 minutes. So pay attention because this can literally change your life. So let's get into it. What are the best markets to trade in 2026? I've been trading the same stuff over and over again for the last 7 years. I've mainly been trading the CFD markets, which as you can see here on my TradingView app, EURUSD, GBPUSD and gold. These three pairs have been my go-to in order to make money from the markets. However, 6 months ago, I started trading futures, specifically NQ and ES. I did that because I wanted to expand my knowledge to the futures market and start earning more from there as well. And so far it has been going pretty well, hitting 100k in payouts in less than 3 months. So what are the best markets to trade? In my opinion, CFD should be a thing of the past. And I'm saying that with a heavy heart because it has been my favorite thing to trade. I don't think Forex markets are a good thing to do in 2026. Why? Because they've become extremely manipulated and extremely dependent to the dollar. And the dollar right now is heavily manipulated by whatever Trump does or says. That's not really good. And the same thing goes for gold, where gold is a very important asset and obviously the most precious metal. And we can see how heavy it has been moving and how one directional it has been. Now, I'm not saying don't trade CFD at all. You can still trade it, but I would just focus on taking high quality, higher time frame trades. That's also what I have been doing for the last few months inside my pro-firm blueprint, my mentorship with my students, where I also send trades for the past 2 years. We've only focused on higher time frame, high probability setups using the daily 4-hour and 1-hour time frame. I wouldn't recommend going lower than that and trying to scalp the Forex markets because first of all, brokers have increased their commissions. You pay more and more per lot to trade it, which isn't really a good thing that you can do. Also, pro firms have added a lot of slippage and manipulation to the Forex markets because, well, it's very easy to do. So they're doing it. They're doing it so that you can lose money and fail their accounts. All of that combined doesn't make for a good experience trading the Forex markets. That is why I have adopted a different approach to these markets. So the way I trade these markets right now is using simple concepts and the higher time frames, and let's go into that right now. As I said, the markets that you should trade is just, if you're trading the Forex markets, stick to the major pairs, don't go to exotic pairs and all of that because you're gonna get stopped out a lot due to slippage manipulation and all of that stuff. If you're trading futures, obviously you should just focus on trading NQ and ES. In my opinion, if you are a beginner, you should focus more on ES because it's a slower moving pair and it's easier to catch moves on it. NQ on the other hand is highly volatile and heavily dependent on just a few big stocks in the tech industry such as Nvidia. So let's go into the concepts that you need to use. I've been a very simple trader and I've made millions of dollars not watching any ICT garbage, sorry for saying that, watching hundreds of hours of useless information that, you know, it just messes with your head. Simple is always better when it comes to trading. So the concepts that I am telling you guys, obviously some of them can be called ICT concepts, some of them can be called SMC concepts, but at the end of the day, they're just trading concepts. They're just things in the market that provide a reaction. So it doesn't matter what name you put on them, just focus on very simple stuff. So first of all, what I'm gonna use is obviously price action. Guys, it is extremely important to learn how to trade price action. In order to do that, I mean, there's no secret. You gotta watch candles, you gotta watch the charts every single day for days, for weeks, for months, for years to see how price action moves. And the important thing is that price action is different on every single pair. So price action can be one way on your USD and it can act a completely different way on NQ, for example, but the candles are the same. Price action is what allowed me to switch from the CFD market to the futures market in such a short time, because I already knew how candles are moving, so all that mattered was gain some experience and see how these markets move. So price action is number one. Obviously number two, and very closely, is higher time frame bias. You gotta learn how to read the higher time frame. You gotta know if you are in a bullish market or a bearish market. Higher time frame bias on futures is very easy to understand. The way I do it is just I go on the daily time frame, and whatever the previous daily candle was in terms of bullish or bearish, that is my bias for the next day. That way you improve your chances to get winning trades when you're actually trading. As you can see here, if you watch the candles and just trade in the direction that the previous daily candle closed, you're gonna have a lot of success. Let's say, you know, this daily candle bearish closed right here. Obviously next daily candle, if you're looking for sales, you may have gotten stopped out. But after getting a daily bullish close, look at the next few daily candles, all bullish. So if you're trading with the daily time frame, you instantly increase your chances to be profitable. That is very important, knowing the higher time frame bias, and I just showed you how I identified that on NQ. Now, after you know the bias, you need to understand breaks of structures. You need to understand when the market is breaking structure and lower time frame structure as well. So obviously you have the higher time frame bias, but you also need to know how price is breaking structure and how the lower time frames are moving, because if you're trying to take sales just based on a daily candle, it's not gonna work. You need to understand the lower time frame structure. You need to see where there are breaks of structure so that you can wait for the pullback, right, and continuations. You don't want to get entries right here to sell or here or here. You need to understand that when a break of structure is happening on any time frame, there is gonna be a pullback coming, and you want to watch the pullback to get these entries right here. Those entries give you the best risk reward that you need to have in order to be profitable trading. Now, I have a lot of videos on all these concepts on my YouTube channel, so just go browse through the video history and you're gonna find what you're looking for. You also got a couple of more concepts such as fair value gaps or imbalances. Again, different names for, you know, same stuff. A fair value gap is pretty easy. Once you get a big impulse move, you usually create a gap in the market, right? Let's say you have something like this comes bullish, then you get a bigger move down, you form fair value gaps. These are gaps in the markets that, especially in the futures market, they get filled pretty easily and pretty fast. Those are my favorite areas to take trades from, because imbalances in the market, and you know, when price is not balanced correctly, price is gonna come and fill those gaps and then continue. So this is a very important concept. You also got obviously order blocks or institutional candles, or again just supply and demand is the same exact thing. These are the areas in the market where price is returning to, and you can usually find them on the 4-hour, 1-hour time frame, and they're probably the last candle before a break of structure. So as you can see here, right, we had a break of structure right here at the high, we broke structure, and the last bearish candle acts as an order block for me, and look where price just came into. You also had a fair value gap here on the 1-hour, but pay attention, usually I take my fair value gaps on the 5-minute time frame just because they're smaller and more precise. In this case, 1-hour, I always take the order blocks, and even for buys, right, look at this. So here, this is a trade that I actually took and I made a $20,000 day by identifying the correct order block. We can see we had a break of structure here, price broke higher, and the last bearish candle right there was my order block. Price tapped into it, and then I had lower time frame confirmation to take the buys up, make some money, get out at the right time, the exact time where price started to go down. So that is very important. Order blocks, institutional candles, supply and demand. Now, another concept that I use a lot is the FIB tool. FIB tool works on every asset, every market. That is what's amazing about this tool. It's just because it's pure math, right? And it works. The retracement levels that I do use are the 0, 0.7, 0.62, 0.7086, 0.5 and 1. Now my golden area where I look for trades is between the 0.7 and 0.786. That is my golden area where I look to take trades, and you can backtest it on any time frame, any market. You're gonna see once you get a break of structure, price will always retrace to those areas and continue. 0.7, 0.786 is the best area. Usually the 0.62, 0.5 you get a small reaction to create liquidity before price goes here, and even if you just trade based on the fib, you're gonna be successful, trust me guys. And that happens a lot of times, right? That happens and works on every market, every time frame, 1 hour, 50 minute, 4 hour daily, it doesn't matter. It works. So the fib is another very important concept that I use. Everything right here is what you need in order to be profitable. Let's say you also need liquidity. You need to understand liquidity. Again, I have videos about this. I also do have a free training video if you guys want to watch it. It's gonna be in the description. Go watch that because I explain all the concepts that I'm talking about right here. Liquidity is also important, but specifically understanding that weekly, actually monthly, weekly and daily highs and lows are the objectives in the markets, especially on the futures. NQ price always plays around these highs and lows. On Forex it happens too, but it happens slowly. On NQ almost every single day you get the previous daily candle high or low being taken, and you know, just because price is moving, the market is volatile and it likes to go for liquidity targets. So I'd say this, you know, these 7 concepts right here are all you need this year in order to become a profitable, consistent trader. Go take them one by one, research, look at my videos, you know, or even apply for the mentorship. If you want to skip the, you know, the searching for information, you can go apply for the mentorship down below. Prop from Blueprint. I have over 100 hours of material, video material, where I explain every single concept, every single setup, everything you need to know about the markets. It is the best. I promise you, it's the best mentorship in the entire industry. I've put a lot of effort into it. So if you're interested about that, go ahead and apply. Talking about these confluences and these concepts, you know, these are the technicals. But then you're also gonna need risk and trade management. And this, you know, this is the difference. And I'm gonna tell you guys, risk and trade management is the difference between profitable and unprofitable traders. I've known people and I saw people and I also mentored people who have all the best technicals, the best analysis, the best entry points, but because they didn't have a proper risk management and trade management, they couldn't be successful in trading, they couldn't make money, they couldn't be profitable. This is actually more important than the technicals, because if you have good risk and trade management, you can trade anything, any trading setup, and you're gonna make money because you have a good approach. Now for risk, let's talk about first the CFD. For CFD, risk-wise, on a funded account, I wouldn't go over 1% risk. On the personal account, I would go higher, like 2-3% risk max per trade idea. In terms of trade management, again, whatever you like, whatever works for you. For me, what worked amazing and it allowed me to make millions of dollars trading was going for a 1-to-1 and 1-to-2 approach. That is risk reward. So at a 1-to-1, I always go break even, and at a 1-to-2, I always fully close, or sometimes I take 80% off if I see the possibility of price moving a lot more. Now on the futures part is the same thing. I risk 0.5 to 1% per trading idea, and I always go for usually a 1-to-1. At the 1-to-1, I usually just start trailing my stop loss aggressively or even just close it fully. Why? Because I have such a high win rate using my entry models that I don't need to aim for big risk rewards. What I'm trying to introduce now is trailing my stop loss very aggressive in order to catch bigger moves, because I've found a lot of scenarios where I close my trade too early and then it runs 3, 4, 5 hours more easily, and I could have easily catch that if I was just trailing my stop loss and doing a different approach. So again, this comes to my next important thing that you need in 2026, which is journaling and understanding your data. Understanding how your trading works, what are the mistakes you make, and what makes you more profitable or more unprofitable is a key to your success. You always need to adjust your trading plan so that you can maximize profits and reduce your losses. And that's again what I've been doing, and I've made my perfect trading plan for CFD. Now obviously trading futures, I need to refine things every single day, but just small things that will increase my profitability and reduce my losses. And one of that was, as I said, trading my stop losses, or probably gonna even try to aim for a 1 to 2 and just trade my stop loss in profit, first at break even and then to 1 hour and then to 2 hour, and then see if the trade runs more. This right here, it is what's gonna make you profitable. I am completely confident that if you do and apply all of this right here, you will be profitable this year. And now let's go towards the end of the video where I'm gonna talk about personal capital or prop firm capital. In my opinion, still this year, I've been saying it last year, prop firms have become harder to trade with. It is becoming harder and harder to get payouts, but in my opinion, it is still the best way to get some capital and start making some money. It is the fastest way as well, because trading personal capital, not a lot of people have thousands of dollars to put into their personal account and then start getting paid out from that account. Instead, with prop firms, obviously CFD prop firms, you can buy a 100k account for $500, you make 80% of the profit, and on futures, evaluations are so cheap right now, you can buy a 50k account for under $50. And if you pass that and you get a payout, if you make $1,000 for just paying $50 for an account, that's pretty crazy in my opinion. And I do believe futures prop firms at this moment are better than CFD prop firms, but that can obviously change very fast. We've seen some prop firms, some futures prop firms go down quite fast because of platform issues or just rules they added that people don't really like. They don't like getting scammed. They don't like working an account, getting to the payout and then getting rejected and losing all that balance. Prop firms should be your number one priority in 2026. Use the profits from your prop firms to fund your personal account and start growing that using the same strategies. That way you will reach financial freedom pretty fast if you use the proper scaling system. And that comes to the end of the video where scaling is the most important thing. Yeah, you can trade one prop firm account, but what if you were trading 50 prop firm accounts? Imagine the amount of money you can make by doing that. And I was the first one to do that with CFD prop firms, where I scaled to 6.7, almost $7 million across all the prop firms that I was trading with. And I wasn't making a crazy return, I was making 1% per month. But 1% per month on a $7 million in capital, that was like 60-70k in pure profit that I was getting, and that is pretty insane to do. And anyone can do that because I just applied a very good scaling system where I started from one account and slowly I used the payouts to reinvest into accounts, pass them as fast as possible using my risk management, trade management rules, and scale to all that capital, and then keep the funding accounts for as long as possible, getting payout after payout after payout with consistency and making money. Guys, if you want to learn exactly the system that I've been using for all these years and the students that I have been teaching are also using to start getting payouts, consistent payouts, go ahead and click the link in the description, apply for the prop firm blueprint. I will personally reach out over to you to see if you're a good fit for the program and if I can help you finally become a profitable trader in 2026. This is your year, guys, and I trust you will do the best of it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.